One of the best things about being part of an international school and community is simply the range of life experiences and different perspectives to which students are exposed. Our school has students who have lived all around the world, and teachers and parents who have worked in different industries and locations all around the world. These experiences help to open our students' eyes to the many different paths in life and future career choices. Many people in this room, including myself, never imagined that someday I would be at graduation in Chiang Mai. Just as our students, our graduates here, they have no idea where life may take them, where their journey will end up. Tonight's keynote speaker is a perfect example of this. His journey has taken him from the US to the Middle East and now to Southeast Asia. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our keynote speaker tonight, the Regional Security Officer of the US Consulate here in Chiang Mai, Mr. Mathew Kupek.
Good evening. It's a little bit better. I feel a little awkward talking to you with my back to you. I'd like to say, to start out, Mr. Austin, thank you very much for the introduction. And a very special thank you to Mrs. Amy for inviting me to speak here at your graduation. I'm truly honored to be speaking at such an important occasion in your lives. Congratulations. It's a big accomplishment. Congratulations. Ms. Amy was kind enough to send me a list of your names and some of the plans that you've made as you prepare for life after high school. It's very impressive. I see that some of you will be leaving Chiang Mai to continue your education. Some of you will be remaining in Chiang Mai and continuing education here. Some of you will be doing things with family and determining the next steps in your life. It's fantastic to see such a wide range of options and opportunities that await you. I can tell you unequivocally that all of your choices are excellent, excellent choices. And you should be very excited. I can also tell you from personal experience that in some way, shape, or form, I've made decisions in my life and throughout my career that are very similar to the choices you've all made for the next steps that you'll be taking. And the great news is, they've all been good. In one way or another, it's all been good. It's usually had many unintended impacts on my life, the life of my family, and on my future. So as I talk to you this evening, I'd like to discuss a few things that I feel are worth thinking about and have learned throughout my career that I feel are critical in some ways to some of the successes that I've had along the way, and also help me maintain a positive outlook when embarking upon some experiences that can be daunting, frankly. First thing I'd like to talk about is recognizing opportunity. It's everywhere. Big opportunities, little opportunities. It's right in front of you. To be honest with you, I've never spoken at a high school graduation. I was invited to do this about 5 days ago, and without hesitation, I'm happy to come and do it. Seize the opportunity. Take it. Capitalize on those opportunities. For those of you who maybe for the first time leaving home and moving to a new country, you'll have many opportunities to see new places, meet new people, and find new interests. Those of you that are traveling to the US, congratulations. You're going to really enjoy it. There's a lot of great things to see there if you've never been there before. For those of you who are staying close to family and friends, there are great opportunities there as well to help care for families, build relationships locally, and contribute within your community. The key is to keep a sharp lookout for opportunities when they present themselves, and capitalize on them. Secondly, don't be afraid to take chances and be flexible when you take those chances. Things rarely turn out exactly how you intend them to, but many times you're pleasantly surprised at the way things do turn out. Sometimes when you take a chance, it pays off, but be willing to accept the impact of your decisions, and that those decisions may from time to time result in what you may initially perceive as a failure or something that you didn't intend. Many times that happens, and there might be a silver lining to a cloud that you didn't know. You might meet some interesting people based on the choices that you've had. Have some fantastic opportunities to get involved in different communities. As you guys move on and attend university, whatever you're doing, build the relationships. Expand your horizons. There's plenty of time for study. I don't have to sit here and explain how hard work pays off and all that. You know that. You've worked hard. That's how you got here. But I will say that building relationships and networking is really critically important in today's world. As part of my job, I have to move every 1 to 3 years. I work for the U.S. Department of State. My job title is Special Agent with the Diplomatic Security Service. It's not like in the Fast and Furious movie with The Rock. He plays that position. That's not what we do. But we do a lot of interesting things, and we have a lot of opportunities. When I talk about don't be afraid to take chances, and sometimes you may not know exactly what that is, I'll give an illustration. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. It's in the north. Terrible sports teams, but we love them anyways. But when I left, I really thought I'd never have another opportunity to be back. There's only one position in the whole state of Ohio for the U.S. Department of State, not just the Diplomatic Security Service, and it's detached to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force in Cleveland. When I was in Iraq, on my first tour in Iraq, the bid list came out, which is competitive. There's somewhere between 60 and 100 agents bidding on every position that comes out every year. And you have to lobby for positions. It's difficult sometimes. So I decided I was going to take a break and not bid, and just see what happened. Now, I don't necessarily recommend this tactic for people. However, in my case, it worked out pretty well. The person in charge of our assignments called me, said, "We noticed you haven't bid, Matt. You know you need to do that because we'll have somebody else coming in there. Would you like to extend for 6 more months and we'll push you on to the next bidding cycle?" I said, "Sure, I'll be happy to do that." She said, "Well, what do you want to do when you're done here?" I said, "Well, I'd really like to take my family to Europe, someplace nice." They weren't able to be with me in some of these other places, so I figured I wanted to get something decent. Jokingly, I said, "Unless the spot in Cleveland, Ohio is open." To which she responded, "That's funny you should say that. The person who had bid on the position last cycle had to back out and had to not take the position. And if you want it, we'll hold it until you're done and it's yours." I didn't ask my wife. I didn't consult with my kids. I took it knowing that I would be able to put our family back around the grandparents. My grandmother was still around for 3 years. And it was an unintended consequence of sometimes just taking a pause and waiting to see what life presents itself. I meant what I said about seizing opportunities. It's important. If you see a good opportunity, take it. But sometimes there's nothing wrong with taking a breath and seeing what happens. It will open doors. When I talk to younger State Department personnel and I tell them that story, I always caveat it with, but I don't recommend that you do that, because it does take a risk. And if that position wasn't open, maybe it might not have worked out exactly how I wanted, but I guarantee whatever position I would have ended up in, I would have made the best of, and I would have learned something from. So the point of that is, whatever you're doing, whatever you've chosen to do, make the most of it. Seize the opportunities that you have. Don't be afraid to wait for opportunities. Don't be afraid that if you miss one, that something else won't come up. Finally, my last piece of advice is be compassionate. I think it's fair to say that bullying in schools and problems of that nature have become much larger in today's communication age. It's all too easy to hide behind an iPhone or an Android making judgments and comments that most people would never make to each other face to face. And sometimes those judgments are based on other statements that may not necessarily be true. We live in probably the most fascinating time in the world. The world has figuratively shrunk with wine, Skype, and everything else. Those of you who will be traveling overseas, I guarantee you will not have a problem staying in touch with your family. It's wonderful. But we need to set an example of compassion and help each other out. So as you continue along with your life journey to help each other out, help each other succeed too, I truly believe that success is something best enjoyed when it's shared, just as we're all sharing in your success tonight. It's wonderful. Even if taking the time to help somebody achieve their goals slows you down a little bit, it's worth it. Help each other out along the way. And I don't just mean everybody in here, but as you move on, you're going to meet new friends. You're going to eventually enter a career. Help each other out along the way. It's important. In closing, I want to congratulate all of you again on the success you've had here at NIS and wish you the very, very best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your experiences and wisdom with our graduates. I would like to invite Adon Ben to present a gift of appreciation on behalf of NIS students and faculty.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure.